So tell me, what's been the biggest loss you've had to overcome so far in your career?
I've lost 78% of my invested capital as a passive investor on a deal because it was with my retirement funds from my engineering world. I can't put it in my own deal, so I invested it passively. And this was an individual who was living in that local market, was one of the coaches in a program I joined, etc. So I trusted them and I invested the money.
And you're operating out of Dallas, right?
I'm in Dallas, but this deal was not in Dallas. And I want to protect that person. I'm not trying to badmouth them, but I'm trying to say what is my lesson learned is, are they focused on operations? Because they were focused, they had so many other interests. They had a full-time job, they had a coaching business, they had other things going on. So this deal was not their focus. They left it in the hands of someone inexperienced. And it was on a fixed rate loan. It was acquired back in 2019. So you can't use these excuses of, oh my gosh, interest rates went up and my bridge loan was affected. None of those excuses. They just bought it in a bad location. They didn't babysit it like it deserved. And they lost 78% of investors' capital. So, I mean, I'm not going back to them again, right? I'm not going to do it again. And that's a tough lesson. So I need to do a more thorough job of vetting. And it's losses like these that help me develop my own checklist.
100%. So that's kind of a segue into what you learned, which is doing your homework. Hey, that's a red flag. Hey, I remember that from that deal. Hey, again, and even your relationships, again, back to it. I have someone who I trust. This happened to them. That's also a red flag, right? That's why you have to have conversations, go out to conferences, etc., meet more people in the space that you feel like you can trust and that have been vetted. What did it feel like when you lost the money, Sandhya?
I felt like I should have been more alert and paid more attention to this train wreck that was happening. And I just ignored it. And suddenly I was just surprised that suddenly we were losing money on a deal on a fixed rate, 10-year fixed rate loan. I'm like, why are you selling it? Wait for the market to improve, do something, right? And I think I was blindsided because I wasn't focusing as much on their financials. I had my own deals to think about.
Sounds like there was some frustration there too, which is obviously justified. And then kind of what was the process when they, started out with capital calls? Or was it all just a blindside? Hey guys, the money's gone, we're in big trouble.
Yeah, pretty much. It was an older property, had more deferred maintenance. They thought they could just, spin it like in the days of the golden era of multifamily, 2015 through 2020, 2021, right? You could just buy a deal and flip it in less than 2 years and make all kinds of money, whether or not you actually operated it well. Well, that's what they thought they could continue to do. And they spent all their CapEx up front too quickly. They didn't have money left. There was negative cash flow, and it was a bad area, tenants didn't pay, et cetera, et cetera. So they weren't focused on operations, ultimately. That's my
What a
biggest
lesson to learn. And what does it look like or feel like now in hindsight, as you've used that as an experience point for you, to become more sophisticated, more experienced, and to be able to essentially pass that value add down to your investors? What does it feel like now in hindsight?
Do your own scrutiny, right, of the market and the deal. Don't just trust somebody because you respect them and you like them. And I still like the guy. I just don't think he was a good steward of my money. And so I should have done a more thorough job of my own upfront due diligence of the area, as well as their priorities and their focus on this deal versus hopping on to the next one.
I love it. Yeah, make sure the person you're putting your money with, A, is invested in what they're doing, knows what they're doing, right? I mean, conservation of capital, right? I mean, that's number one. And you want to be able, we're in this for the long game. I know you are. And I think over time, the people that are really in it, that are really putting the work in, over time you start to shine and the market weeds out those other people. But you want to continue to educate your investors and the people around you that, you value to, hey, keep doing the right thing, keep looking under the hood. And in the end, the truth always comes out.